Hello and welcome back friends. So now friends, in the last lecture we have observed that how we can create a single page in jQuery for mobile, and I am sure that you understood the code very easily. Now in this lecture I will tell you that how we can use multiple pages in jQuery mobile. So as you all know that a mobile app cannot comprise of only a single page, like it comprises of home and many other items, then contact, then support, then many other things. So how one and the other pages are redirected to each other, and what are the HTML parts inside playing, that what we can do to create one page with another and connect both the pages, and when we click on one, the second part will be called, and in this way. So now in this lecture I will tell you that how we can create a basic multiple page. So we will just move on to the Dreamweaver part to understand that how we can create a multiple page in jQuery for mobile. So now friends, here in front of us is the same screen on which we have coded last program. Now before starting the programming part for multiple pages, I just want to tell you something about this. So in jQuery mobile we can create multiple pages in a single HTML file. So a single HTML file basically comprises of multiple pages of same type. Now we can separate each page with a unique ID. So we are giving a unique ID to a single page, so which can be identified, like in normal we have our name, or we have our college IDs or school IDs which will uniquely identify us from the group. So in this way we will provide an ID to it which will uniquely identify that particular page, and when we call it, the functionality will be performed without any difficulty. Now we will use the href attribute of HTML, which will just provide a link between them. Like whenever we want to call this, so on the single click we can redirect to another page. So now on we are starting the programming part here. So these are all the same things, like including the responsive part, as I told you in the last lecture. So I'm not wasting again the time on this. Now starting the part, starting div, and we will start with the data role, and the first part is always a page. So creating a page here in this way, and let's give it a ID. So the first page ID is, let's say I am giving its first page. So this is the ID which I am allotting to it. Now what will be the functionality here? Firstly I am going for div and data role, and the data role which this part plays is main. So as I told you that the main part is the body part, in which we are going to include our content. So class is always UI content. So UI content is the class here in this way, and we will just close it here. Now we will use the A attribute here, which is the HTML attribute, and we will use href, which means the link part. You can observe the sign here, this basically belongs to the link part. So I am adding a link here. Now what type of link I am adding is, let's say I am adding another ID here, which is hash second page. Now why I am using a hash here? Since if you are familiar to jQuery very much, so you can easily understand this. So whenever I want to include a ID, I am using hash here, and whenever I want to include a class, I use a dot here. So here when I will click on the second page, it will redirect me to the second page. So this is the part where we are using the hash here. Now after the completing of program, you will understand it in a better way. So here I have this given a second page, and I am just giving a message. Let's move on to the second page. So here we will be redirected to the second page, and here I will just close the A attribute. Now since I have completed with the first part, I will just close both the divs which I have opened here in this way. Now moving on to the second part, which means the second page, since I have told you that this part comprises of multiple pages. So I will start with div, and the data role will be let's say I am giving it as second page in this way, and I will provide it a ID here, or you can use a page here because the role it will play will be of a page. So a page here, and the ID will be second page. So I am giving the ID here as second page. This is the same as we have repeated earlier for the first page, and here I am just closing this. Now again I am giving the role here. Now this role will be of main again, and we will start with the part of class. So class we are taking as UI content in this way. So UI content I have included here, and I will just close it. Now again a part, so a href, which means the link, and here I will use hash and first page, because when I click on this I will be redirected to the first page. And here I will just close it, and let's move on to the first page. This is just a message which I am giving, and here I am closing this part. Now again the two divs, so first div and second div. So now this is a very easy part. Like firstly, for the first page we have defined the ID here, and we have used a hash part here, which means this is the second page, and when we click on let's move on to the second page, we will redirect here on this ID. So this is the part. Now in the same way, when we click on this part, we will redirect it to this part, which means the first page. So now I am just saving it, and we are moving on to the output part to understand that either our programming is working correctly or not. So now friends, here in front of us is our output screen, which is showing that let's move on to the second page, and when I click on it, so let's move on to the first page. So now our program is working correctly, but the look it is not giving for jQuery mobile. Now why it is not giving the same look as it was the previous? So just remember, we don't have included the header part. In fact, I don't have included the header and the footer part. So I'm just going to introduce this, and then you look at how the look changes. So in this way I will just move on to the part of div, and I will enter div here. So div and data role I will providing is header in this way. Now I will show you the new look of this page, and you will really enjoy that. Yes, we are programming a mobile app. Header in this way, and I will just close it. So giving a heading here like h1, and I will just use welcome to my home, and I will just close it. So now I am going to close the div part for this. Now closing the div here. Now in the same way we will do for the page 2. So now I have entered the footer part here for the first page, and the header part for the first page in this way, and in the same way I have used the header part for the second one and the footer part for the second one. So this basically the important part to be included. Now I am just saving it and going for the output. So you will observe the change here. Now here welcome to my home, and I am footer, which means the header and footer part are visible. So this is just increasing the shine of this. Now let's move on to the second page, and I am just clicking on this. So I am on the first page now. So welcome to my second home, and I am footer. Now again let's move on to the first page, and it will just go here. Now you can include anything in the page like images and many things like data, information, or any other page which we are going to include in the further lectures. So friends, I am sure that you understood that how we can include multiple pages in jQuery mobile. So we will soon meet in the next lecture with some new concept. Thank you for watching this lecture.